Hey, howdy there, anyone. So I was going to talk about my top 10 games, but got looking at it and got to do my top 15 because there's just too many. So we're going to start out here at number 15 with Borderlands 2. 206 hours total played. 98% of that was played with my buddy Hemon. Pretty much just me and him. We had a couple other guys coming in and out, but we rolled through that campaign so many times. Borderlands 2 was a really, really good sequel to the first one, and all of the ones that came after it, I didn't pick up, didn't enjoy. Next one up is Red Orchestra 2. We're gonna see a theme here. There's a lot of twos here. 211 hours. First person shooter, Heroes of Stalingrad. There was strategy, there was different classes. You could sneak around, you could be frontline. There was a lot of good. Oh, and one of the hardest things about Red Orchestra 2 is I would say probably the first 80 hours of it. You don't even know where you died from. You just like you would in real life, man. It was pretty eerie, it was pretty unreal, but once you started learning the maps and started learning where people are, learned to look for little glints, that's when you could do some real damage. All right, next one up, Company of Heroes 2. Another World War II, 227 hours, 0.9. Top-down strategy game. Big fan of strategy games. Company of Heroes 2 is a incredible, slow, and moments of intense, unlike StarCraft 2, where it's boom, done. Like you can lose your army in a second. In Company of Heroes 2, the positioning is so important, and the layering of your units is so incredibly important. Calling upon your teammates, because I didn't play much 1v1 Company of Heroes 2. Where it really shined is in my opinion 2v2. 4v4 got a little out of hand, and 4v4 it seemed like there was just 2v2 battles happening. And then occasionally you would kind of come in with, your commander abilities and hit the other. But 2v2 is where it really shined. You're locked in battle with your partner. You're going in. You're saying, "Hey, I'm taking the right side with these units. Come reinforce me with one tank, right?" And you could, Company of Heroes 2 was an incredible game for me. I unfortunately fell off once Company of Heroes 3 came around. I didn't get into it. I think I bought it. I don't know that I have very many hours in it though. There used to be a game called Coho, Company of Heroes Online. I feel like if that game came out now, with the normalization of battle passes and the normalization of like these different monetizations, I think Coho would work really well now. But when it came out, it was messy footing. They didn't know what they were doing. I'm not sure the story behind why Coho suddenly disappeared, but it really did. Like, it just kind of came and gone, and all of a sudden it was gone. This was like 2008, so I could be wrong. I feel like it had like roguelike elements, card system in this strategy game, and it had muddy boots, couldn't get off the ground. All right, next up we've got The Forest. 235 hours. What can I say about The Forest? The Forest is a horror-themed survival where you have base building mechanics, and you're in a forest, obviously. You're in a forest, and there's like these weird zombie things and you're not quite sure what's going on. There's a story. The Forest, the sequel of The Forest came out, and I'm going to be talking about that later at the end of the video about where this channel is going. But the story of The Forest was pretty good. I had a really, really good time in the campaign. Maybe you can have multiplayer. I do remember playing with friends, but where it really shined is just the single player experience, just kind of going through the caves, really just living in that world. It was a really, really good time. 235 hours. Next one up is Team Fortress 2. Now this one is a little, we're missing some hours here, 244, because back in the day, there was this, you could even say my start of video games was at Frags and Gibbs. And Team Fortress 2 was definitely one of the ones that was always on somewhere in the room. Frags and Gibbs was a local, you know, there were PCs there were PlayStations there were Xboxes there, and you go and pay for time. It was like an arcade where you'd go and pay for time, and then you could log into the Steam profiles that were there. They had a bunch of different Steam profiles with like just a bunch of games loaded up on them, and Team Fortress 2 was definitely one of the ones that we all played the shit out of. Oh man. My main was the spy. I mained spy, and then I think engineer. It was probably spy, engineer, medic. I really liked playing medic. And then heavy. Team Fortress 2, class-based games are really, really fun. I really like class-based games, and Team Fortress 2 holds a special place in my heart. Last played 2021. You know, I checked it out. I tried checking it out. It just, you know, sometimes things are there for when they're there, and when they're not, it's okay. It's okay to move on. Alright, next up is Factorio. Now, remember how I said Borderlands was with Hemon? Factorio was with Casey. 500 hours played in Factorio. Man, that was crack. That was straight into the veins. You know, what do you want from me? I don't know if you put crack in your veins, but shut the fuck up. I'm playing Factorio here, alright? You start out, what is it? It's a survival base building, getting off the planet. You crash down onto an alien planet surrounded by bugs, and you are part of a mining facility where you just are trying to mine the resources and steal from the planet, and the bugs aren't happy about it, so they come and get you. And so you got to protect your factory. And so having two people, one where all he cares about is building the base and being real anal about making every little fucking nook and cranny. The map is endless. So, you know, you can go wherever, so it doesn't, you know, you don't need to. But the part of Factorio is building these systems and making these incredible belt trains and undergrounds, you know. I like the belt systems in this game. There's I'll look it up, I'll put it on the screen, but there's a mine in Utah where they have a ore system where they're mining the ore at one mountain, and then they put it onto this belt, and the belt is like 100 miles long, 150, 100 miles long or something like that, and the belt deposits the ore at another mountain where they load it onto trains and ship it off. I don't know if video games replicate life, or if life replicates games, or if, you know, but obviously when you're building a factory game, like, and you're stringing up the the electrical wires, and then you get the upgrades, and you string up the next electrical wires, and then you get the upgrade, and you string up the final electrical wires. You go and look, if you go drive through America, you'll see strings of electrical wires, just like in Factorio, exactly like in Factorio, right? But the difference is in Factorio, you can just click delete, go through and delete all the old ones, so you only have the fresh new ones, right? But in real life, you know, you got to pay somebody to go out there and do it. You got to pay somebody to go out there and get rid of the old electrical wires, and so it's just cheaper to leave them up. And so now we have all 3 tiers of electrical wires out there strung up. I got a little sidetracked, but my point is that Factorio is a great game, and you should check it out. Risk Rain 2. Risk Rain 2, pretty recent, and I've already got 539 hours in this game. Now, the company got sold off, and there's been some shenanigans happening, but aside from the company shenanigans, Risk of Rain 2 is an incredible game. It's a roguelike, third-person, class-based, very difficult. The skill cap is very hard. It's got a lot of RNG. People don't like that, but that's part of roguelikes. It's you have some runs where you go in for 7 minutes and you're like, shit, this is not working, and then you die and you start again and you get some better items and it works out better. The combination of items at this point for me, you know, played out, but when you first start playing through the game, you start getting item combos. Holy shit, fuck yeah, like this is gonna work so much, but you know, you start like seeing how the ticks, you know, one of my other buddies was super into like the ticks and the tick rates and like what procs what, and it's just, dude, if you've got missiles and you know that the missiles are procking other attacks, you're doing more damage. You're doing more big dick damage, right? You don't need to know exactly the exact tick rate and the exact, you know, min-max, whatever. Like, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Everybody can have a freaking harvester scythe. All right, get off my back. One of the downsides of Risk of Rain, they might, in one of the recent updates, I haven't played since last year, since 2024, but one of the biggest issues was that because the items in Risk of Rain 2 are out in the open and they're not, what's the word? They're not shared. There's only one, right? And so if you open up, if I buy a crate, let's just say I buy a crate and the item in there, my teammate thinks that he really needs it. Now there's this friction where I fucking saved up the money. I bought the crate, and in my mind, it's a good item for the both of us. If it's 2% better on him, is that worth causing this friction, right? And so one of the side modes mitigates that, because one of the side modes of Risk of Rain 2, I'm blanking on the name at this moment, everybody gets an item. And so at the end of the round, everybody gets an item, and then you get to choose between the 3. And so in that mode, there's literally zero friction. Zero. None. And the base game could learn a lot from that in a few different ways. I think some simple things like an item counter, that's the thing that they might have implemented because it lists in the icons all of your items, right? But once you have 50 items, it is very hard to sit there and count, okay, how many do I have? And oh, that one says ×3 and whatever. And so there needs to be a really clear number of, hey, this guy has 40 items and this guy has 32, right? Let's start giving, you know, our buddy some items, because it is beneficial for the whole team, for everybody to be strong, because the enemies get stronger as time goes on. And so the more that we're fucking sitting here arguing about who has who deserves this item, meanwhile, the enemies don't care. They're getting stronger. They don't care about your team dynamics. Like, I don't like that friction. I don't like games that cause team friction. That's part of the reason why Red Orchestra, or not Red Orchestra, Company of Heroes 2 was so difficult for me to like. I love strategy games. I love World War II. But Company of Heroes 2, they were 45-minute to an like hour-long games where you are battling each other, right? You are like, oh, and there's so much of this, like, if you lose a guy, if you lose a squad, like, it's devastating. And it's like, if you lose a leveled up squad, oof, it's devastating. If you feel like your teammate is the reason that you lost your leveled up squad, it's over. You're done at that point. And so Risk of Rain 2 could be so amazing if it didn't have that friction of the team dynamic. If they were able to just make it easier, you know, and maybe this is just the team that, you know, maybe if you just had a better crew, it wouldn't be as hard and like to deal with, and you'd be able to just enjoy the damn game. Let's move on. Next one, Valheim. 615 hours. Now, a lot of this is padded because the last times that I was playing it, I was doing like XP farming. I built you know, you build one of those little XP farms, and I was grinding out some magic XP because the magic system is introduced, and it sucks to do it naturally. And so I was grinding it out. So probably this one's probably sitting down, like actual playtime for this, you know, closer to like 500 hours, I'd say. I really, really like the realistic foundational thing where you have to make your building structurally sound. You can't just go and build a tower to the sky with a ledge all the way over. You have to start out with stone, start out with core wood, and then get the lighter wood on, you know, up top, and you can only build like 3 stories. And building 3 stories is very difficult. Like, and so my buddy Hemon, the last thing that we built is a serpent. We built a serpent building where the face of the building had like a serpent fangs, and there was fire, and the eyes were glowing. There, you know, smoke coming out of the nostrils, and then the building kind of like wrapped around, not in a circle, but just kind of wrapped around on itself, and then the tail went out into the water and was the dock for our boats. Like, you can do really, really, really cool shit in Valheim. And the Viking theme is really, really cool. I'm kind of waiting for full access. I haven't been paying attention. Maybe it's full access now. But I knew that there were a couple of updates, a couple of new bosses, the biome that they were working on. But if I'm gonna play Valheim, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to play vanilla. I want to be on a server where the resources are modded, where you're getting extra resources. I feel like the resources were way too difficult to get, and it was way too easy to die out in the ocean. That's usually where you died, is out in the ocean or up on the mountain. And if you die up on the mountain, you lose all your frost gear. And so now you're having to run up the mountain with a frost potion naked, because you can't go up there with gear because you'll be over encumbered. The fun of the game is there. I really, really enjoy the base building, but I feel like anytime I'm going out and exploring the world, it was very difficult. So I'm kind of waiting for a full crew to be able to play Valheim, because a lot of that is mitigated if you have a full crew. You know, if you've got a bunch of wolf armor, you can leave. It's a lot easier to get resources, is what I'm saying, is if you have a full crew. Next one up is PUBG Battlegrounds. So PUBG, 448 or 648 hours. It's a good game. Like it, was a good game. First person shooter, battle royale. This was during the battle royale phase, like where every freaking game. This was before Fortnite, right? Like PUBG was before Fortnite. I'm pretty sure that style of parachuting in, going around, looting the maps, running around in vehicles. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Next one up is Hunt Showdown, 1896. I played it before the 1896 update. 724 hours. First person shooter, tactical, slow, sound based. Oof. The sound, like, I remember watching videos in PUBG, like informational videos about like, oh hey, like if somebody's above you, their footsteps sound like this, and if they're below you, their footsteps sound like this, and if they're coming through a window, their footsteps sound like this. And so like the sound in PUBG was nice, but it didn't really matter. As soon as you knew where somebody was, you knew where they were. Like it didn't really matter. The sound in Hunt Showdown is next level. You have to avoid glass on the ground. You have to avoid chains hanging from the ceiling and the bird, like you don't want to alert birds or the dogs or like it's environmental, so you're fighting against the map and the people. So it's also a battle royale, escape whatever, but you can escape whenever. You can, in theory, only go around and fight the map and get the map objectives and never need to fight people. But the people also doing and going around adds that amazing element of now you're in combat with this person or this team, and you're also having to avoid the map, right? You're also having to avoid all of the creatures and be able to move around, and you can set up the traps. Like you can set up traps, trip wires, bear traps. I'm sure there's so much more in Hunt Showdown now. It's just hard. There's just so many games, man. There's so many games. So we're one achievement away from maxing it out. Probably I'll go back. Probably I'll check it out. There were a lot of server issues. There's a lot of like, I don't want to say hacker issues, but obviously sus behavior issues in Hunt Showdown. And so next one up is Natural Selection 2. Now, a lot of you probably haven't even heard of Natural Selection. A lot of you probably haven't heard of Natural Selection 2. And that's it's unfortunate, and I sincerely hope that the developers of this game are working on something in silence right now, and whatever they come out with next, I am going to love just as much. Natural Selection 2 is a aliens versus humans strategy first person shooter class-based system with commanders. There is so much to be said about Natural Selection. I'm going to start with the commanders. So, on the alien team and on the human team, one person gets into the commander chair, and now they are no longer first person. They're no longer playing a first person game. They are now playing a top-down strategy game where they can see the map, the resources, they direct they can ask people where to go, they can direct people where to go. They set down blueprints, and then the people down on the map build the blueprints, defend the bases. The commander is who chooses the upgrade paths for the people on the ground. The commander chooses where to hold, where to push. Like, it is incredible. It is absolutely incredible. There have been games that have tried this and failed with less less difficulty. Like they tried less mechanics, that's the word I'm looking for. They had less mechanics and they failed in other games. Like there's been commander systems where it's like just very, very basic. Not natural selection. I haven't seen anything like it. I don't know why this game wasn't bigger than it was. One of the issues with the game was that the community was small. And so you would have these people who had thousands of hours, and they played the classes where, you know, the quick kill classes where they would come in, boom, 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 use their massive amounts of experience in the game to wipe out the people, to wipe out like 1v5 sort of situations. And it really turned off players, and it really, because it's got a learning curve. And the learning curve of natural selection, when you learned it, oh my god, it was so amazing. The aliens the skulks crawled around on the walls. You could crawl around on the walls, on the ceilings, get into vents, shoot little tags, see the humans through the walls. There was a creep system, and so like the commander would set out creep, and like when the creep was on the walls, it would get darker, and it would be harder for the humans to work in that environment. I don't even know where to begin. There is so much potential with Natural Selection 2. They stopped development, and they announced that they were stopping development on Natural Selection 2. Actually, you know what? I want to go in and I want to read my recent reviews mixed. Alright, here it is. Unknown Worlds Entertainment ceases active development of Natural Selection 2. In this thread, I left a comment where's my comment? Ah, here it is. Natural Selection 2 was one of the greatest games I had the honor to play. There were so many incredible things about this game that when they all came together, it led to the best team experiences ever. Unfortunately, there were too many encounters with the toxic side of the community that it led me to leaving this incredible game. I haven't played in many years, so maybe it's different now, but there was too much hate on new players and too many people gleefully slaughtering them into all F4ing and never returning. There were servers named Noob Friendly, and I tried playing primarily in those because I don't mind helping, but even in those I saw way too much toxic actions that I explained above. I'd absolutely, this part is true, this part I 1000% believe. I would absolutely love to see what the team behind NS2 could do in a PvE sphere. You guys have developed something amazing, first-person shooter plus RTS foundation. Plus knocked it out of the park with humans versus aliens. Incredible. What if that same foundation, but only against computers? It seems like you guys have made a lot of progress in understanding bots, AI. I would be extremely interested in seeing teamwork-based commander and ground troops working together towards the same goal against various bot threats. I don't know if I've been... I've been spending a lot of time in Risk Reign 2 and Deep Rock Galactic, both PvE team-based games, and I've been having a ton of fun. This received 2 Take My Points, 2 Wholesomes, a Slow Clap, and Poetry. I had so much fun in Natural Selection 2. Aliens vs. Predators was one of my favorites, is one of my favorite movie series. The theme of bugs versus humans has always hit something deep in our human hearts, and Natural Selection 2 did it beautifully. Next up is Dota 2. This 742 hours is probably equivalent to how many hours I put into League of Legends 2. Dota 2 and League of Legends 2 were both during very dark times of my life. They were during moments, or years, not even moments, but full-on years of when I was disassociated from the world. I remember happily disappearing 5 hours a night into Dota 2 every single day. I would come home, I wouldn't think of anything else. You know, the amount of times that I snuck around and I killed the carrier while items were in it, there's no feeling like that. I think they changed that in the past few years. I don't think you can kill the carrier anymore. I don't know. I don't keep up with it, but oof. If I was streaming and I was making videos, the compilation video of me slaughtering their carriers and slaughtering their backline with Shaco or whoever it was, whatever invisible bastard I was playing, because I think Shaco was League, and so it was some other Blade bastard that I was playing in Dota. Rocket League, 857 hours. No excuse. This was a bad time in my life. I may or may not have said nice save, nice save, nice save one too many times. I was fully toxic when I was playing Rocket League. I'm not sure that there's anybody in that game that isn't. Rocket League's an interesting game. For some reason, you can just take rocket-powered cars and a soccer ball, and somehow with that simple combination, you've created a brew that is the greenest, foulest, bubbliest cartoon smoke nasty concoction that you could make. I have never seen toxicity outside of League of Legends like I've seen in Rocket League 2. Well played, nice save, nice save. Next up is Deep Rock Galactic. This is my jam. I'm so excited for Rogue Core. Deep Rock Galactic and Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, they've made a goofy, fun, relaxed, but still provides video game fun. You're killing bugs. That's another theme. Look at that. Killing bugs, digging holes, and class-based. The teamwork is unlike anything else. I've seen very, very little rage in Deep Rock Galactic, and when somebody's raging, you just kind of feel bad for them. You know that if somebody's raging in Deep Rock Galactic, they had a hard day. It's not like raging in Dota or League. That's normal. That's to be expected. If somebody's raging in Deep Rock Galactic, you just say no problem. You're just like, no problem, man. It doesn't matter how many times you die. If you're dying and you're like, ah, man, sorry, I'm just not on my game, somebody's gonna say, no problem, dude. You're good. The community in Deep Rock Galactic is really good. I'm at my limit for Deep Rock. There's not much left to do. I love doing deep dives, obviously, but I need more Deep Rock. And the roguelike Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core, I'm so excited for. I'm very excited. And that leads us on to Conan Exiles, my top played game on Steam. I broke 1,000 hours. This is a bittersweet thing for me. And this is leading me to the direction of the channel. In Conan Exiles, you start out with nothing. You start out with a rag tunic and sticks on the ground. You go around and pick up sticks and rock. And by the end of it, I had built an empire. Here they are. So, these are my screenshots of my base. You see these little guys here, down here? You see these guys on the wall? This game had a Pokemon-style capture system where you could capture NPCs out in the world, drag their knocked out asses back to your base, put them on a breaking wheel, and force them to work that wheel and feed them gruel until their spirit is broken and they serve you. This was a time-consuming process. There were tier 1, 2, and 3 NPCs. There were specialty named guys that were like tier 4, you know, rare. Every single one of these guys was a tier 3 or above. I didn't fuck with tier 1. I didn't fuck with tier 2. I surrounded my base in as many guys as I could get. This building on the left was my arms building. This is where I held excess arms and armor for when I went out raiding. It was quick access because in this game, when shit hit the fan, it hit the fan fast. So what I did was, in the map, you can go around and you can claim an area and you have to defend that area to your best ability. Most people chose on top of mountains or, you know, underground where they could build layers and layers. What I did was I built a wall. I found an island and I built my base where I built my building, and I surrounded it by guys and I covered them in armor. So every single one of these guys on the wall is an archer. Every single one of these guys on the ground is a melee guy. Look at these dudes up on the fucking rocks. And all the way up along the wall. Holy shit. And this was a massive structure, right? This was intimidating to build. This was the hardest material to build out of. The strongest material. And this alone was intimidating to people. This structure would have been impossible to break through, or very, very difficult to break through. You had all of these people defending it. You have layers upon layers upon layers of wall to break through. I made a look at this. In order to raid, you had to bring along all of these dragonfire bombs. You had to bring catapults, trebuchets, and your best armor, you know, oil pots, fire pots. Like, raiding in this game was so much fun. You had to grind the materials. And I don't know if I can show this one because they're naked. I'm gonna have to blur this one out. But yeah, you could make your guys just straight up naked. So here is a image of the wall that I had around the entire island, and then behind it, you can see the base. And so the building behind it was this massive Fort Knox structure, and around it was a very strong wall, surrounded by water. I built it all the way along onto the water's edge. Look at this. This thing is massive. Decorated the one and only entrance with skulls. I built an empire. This is an empire. The server that we were on had a full-on war. When I joined the server, and I joined the server as a rag, you know, as a rag stick-carrying little person, there were already massive clans and massive, you know, like 10, 20 party clans. And it was just me and like four other dudes, right? And the 4 dudes that I had were toxic as hell. Straight up. Frankly, they would steal my shit. They would go and start wars and cause trouble because they thought it was funny. And I would have to fucking deal with the aftermath and talk to people and make trades and be like, look, no, like, I'm like, before I built all of this shit in secret, you have to play the game of, oh, no, you know, like, don't attack me, like, you know, like, I'm, you know, I'll give you some mats, like, I'll give some materials. You have to empire build, straight up. Like, this is empire building shit. And Conan Exiles managed to, I don't know, it tied so many beautiful things together. And this leads me onto the direction of this channel. All of this is dust in the wind, because I was not recording. I was not streaming at the time. And so I had to do a top 15 because the top 10 wasn't, there were too many games. There were 5 more games that I wanted to include in the video, in the discussion, and Conan Exiles I put over 1,000 hours into. I built an empire from nothing. And the only thing that I have left are these screenshots and my memories. I personally would love to go back through the archives and watch this shit being built. I would love to relive all of the incredible moments that happened in Conan Exiles. This was me preparing for war. I had a vault. I had everything I needed in that vault to go and single-handedly take out somebody's base. With a clan and with people that were passionate to defend and attack and gather resources, it would have been a very different story. And it would have been very incredible to see. And so what I want to do with this channel is I want to play these, you know, I've got 200 and something games in here, right? 400. I have 400 games in my Steam, and a lot of them I haven't played. I'm tired of that. I want to have fun. I'm sick and tired of overthinking, and I'm gonna keep doing it, but I'm gonna do my best to have fun. I overthought myself into oblivion. It is part of the reason why I didn't create before I am creating now. And I regret that. I want to play Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core, and I want to stream every minute of it. I want to go back and finish the single player games that I have not played before. Or, sorry, finish the single player games that I started and didn't finish. I want to go through, play single player games that I haven't played before. I want to go through all of the, like, every game that is here, somebody made. This is art. This is humanity. Portal 2, I would be, 52 hours in Portal 2. But I would be a very different person if I never played Portal 2. Straight up. There are things in here that are momentous, life-changing, and there's no point to life as far as anybody, as far as I can tell, the point of life is to create a good world for our children. And other than that, it's all just gravy, right? Like, the good and the bad, it's all gonna go to dust, and I want to have fun in the meantime. I'm sick and tired of being depressed. I want to continue the momentum of growth. I don't want to continue shrinking and growing smaller. I want to grow what's in here, and I want to grow what's out there. So the TLDR of that is this is going to be live streams. I'm going to make content from those live streams. I'm going to make offline informational videos where I take some more time and care to research topics. On this channel, it's going to be involving video games. But once I get more confidence in that, I'm going to branch out. You can see behind me, I got a bunch of rocks and stones, and I love geology. I've made videos in the past talking about geology, and I want to make more. I don't like politics. I don't like getting into politics, but it's clear that there are voices out there that are loud, and I believe there's room for the middle ground, and I believe I have a voice for the middle ground, and that will shine through here and there. I'm gonna dabble in some React content. There's some Dr. K stuff that has been sitting in my watch later that I think if I watch it and I have, I try to make something of it rather than just consume it, I think it'll stick. I think it'll stick a lot better, and hopefully it'll be helpful. And finally, camping. I'm going to bring back my camping stuff. I'm going to, whenever I go out and camp, I'm going to bring my camera, and I'm going to make my camping content that I used to enjoy making, and I haven't in a long time. But I'm just going to keep at it. One of my biggest problems was consistency, and I am going to this video, me talking right now, is me trying to commit myself to being more consistent. I'm gonna put this as my channel trailer, and I have experienced looking back at myself 10 years, 5 years, and seeing the emptiness. I want to see some shit there. I want to see many things after this. And I hope you enjoy. I hope you're along for the ride. And I appreciate you. Thank you for watching.